And now, live from the 2015 Vancouver International Wine Festival, Anthony Gismondi and Casey Wilson. This is Tony and Casey's Best of Food and Wine on CIL 650.
Welcome back to the Best of Food and Wine. I'm Tony Gismondi. We've been going all day long and all night long. That's Casey Wilson, by the way. She's. Are you flagging, Casey? What's happening?
Okay, 2 wines to go, Tony.
All right. Let's drink them both.
Yes.
Well, we have our great friend back in the studio. First of all, Rodney Strong in front of us. I'm so happy to see Charlotte's Home Sauvignon Blanc, one of my favorites. DanWildermuth joins us from Rodney Strong. Dan, welcome back to Vancouver.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Another show. Have you've been at a few now? Maybe not 37, but they're piling up.
Maybe close to 20, I think.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice to get out of Sonoma or not? Is it beautiful now?
It's actually beautiful.
It is. It's warm.
72 degrees Fahrenheit today.
Wow.
Needs some rain, though.
Yeah? I thought you got a bunch of rain. Was it not enough, or was that further south?
We get like 3 days of rain and 20 days of sun.
Yes.
We just need more.
See, we get 20 days of rain and 2 days of sun, and apparently the sun's coming out this weekend, so you brought it with you.
And that doesn't work either. Too much rain.
Great to see you. Well, let's do the wines first, then we can chat. Charlotte's Home, such a great label for you and a wonderful wine. Sauvignon Blanc's doing well in the U.S.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Well, doing well everywhere, but...
It's doing great, and I brought this wine especially for you because I figured you've had a lot of wine today. This would be a nice palate
We've
cleanser.
had a lot of Shiraz today, so this is
Remember
great.
when you couldn't sell Sauvignon to anybody at any price? Yeah. Really, it was always a tough sell. Now it's back on track.
It's a very hot wine.
Yeah.
Very hot wine now. So Charlotte's Home, as you know, but I'm sure your audience does it, Charlotte was Rod Strong's wife.
Mm-hmm.
He named the wine after her. The original vineyard was right below the home that they lived.
Yep.
And they were breeders of English Mastiffs, and she used to walk the dogs through that vineyard all the time. It was originally Cabernet, right along the banks of the Russian River, and it really didn't ripen. So he decided to graft it, and she was a Sauvignon Blanc lover, and he planted Sauvignon Blanc, and it was a match made in heaven.
Oh, wow. What a great story.
It's delicious.
The house is gone.
The house is gone. It was on a hill that was moving.
That's
so
right.
It had to be removed.
We actually saw it. We were down there.
Yeah.
We saw it there, and then we saw it later when it...
By the way, this wine's under screw cap. It never was going to be under screw cap, but, it happened.
It happened.
It's about 3 or 4 years now, or maybe more, eh?
No, it's probably pushing 10.
Is it 10?
Yes.
Really?
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
You must have been one of the early guys to do that.
In Sonoma, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's the only one we do in screw cap.
Fantastic. Northern Sonoma, so Northern Sonoma is a sub-app now of Sonoma County?
It is an AVA,
yeah.
And it encompasses several other AVAs, Dry Creek, Alexander Valley, Russian River Valley, and so on. So this one is actually a blend of Alexander Valley, the original Charlotte's Home, with some of the Jane's Vineyard Sauvignon Blanc from Russian River. So you get some of that cool climate, acidity, citrus, a little bit of
and then
grassy.
Then you get that tropical kick, which just it's so beautiful over top of the acidity.
And who's Jane? Do we know?
So Jane is actually Tom Klein, the owner of Rodney Strong's mother.
Oh, okay.
So family wineries. We name vineyards after parents and their kids.
Next up is Dan's Vineyard. Just stand by.
I think I have to marry them into family, and that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Well, thanks for that. That's really appreciated. Love that. And this is the 2013 that we have here.
And you know what, Tony?
It's available in the market, too.
It is available.
Great, yeah.
This would go really well with one of your favorites, calamari.
It would. Yeah, it would. It would be perfect.
With garlic. It would be excellent.
Let's go get some calamari, Casey.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's get some
And this one actually sees about 10% barrel fermentation in neutral French oak.
Yep.
Just to give it a little bit of mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Without the flavor of the oak.
Yeah, it's all good. Love it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, and the red wine, the Rodney Strong Alexander Valley. Now, Rodney Strong has a number of different Cabernets that they make, but this is the Alexander Valley designate, which is kind of nice.
Yeah,
special place too.
It's a special place. We have 8 Cabernets. You see our Sonoma County most with the red capsule on it. This would be the next one moving up the Alexander Valley Estate. a blend of vineyards within Alexander Valley, all hillside.
Yep.
91% Cabernet with some Malbec, Merlot, and Petit Verdot in it. So a little bit of blend in there, give it some complexity. And then we have, 6 other Cabernets as you move up all the way to single vineyards, very small production.
Some in the Alexander and others above, and it's all good. Yeah. Things are good in Sonoma.
Things are good.
I heard a rumor there's a new tasting room, or what's happening at Rodney Strong?
Well, we've developed what we call the terrace at Rodney Strong, which is a new tasting room, but it's on property and it's outside.
Yeah, that's nice.
What a great idea.
So we have a permanent bar out there that butts up against the cellar.
Yeah.
Out there by the where the picnic green is.
Yeah.
There's a permanent bar. There's a kitchen behind it. So we're doing charcuterie and cheese plates now, and we've hired a chef. And as we get into our season, we'll be doing food and wine pairings. And we do flights of Chardonnay, flights of Cabernet, and flights of Pinot Noir.
Our guest is Dan Wildermuth. He's the VP of Marketing at Rodney Strong. Dan, the way that people visit wineries, has it changed, or is it the same in the U.S., or how does that work now? The model's been going on for 4 or 5 decades now.
More people visiting?
Definitely more people, but they want more of an experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the old days, I remember one day I did 10 wineries.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do the tour. I was, wanted to learn about wine and to taste.
And get going,
And you see a lot less of that. People want to go to 2, maybe 3, and they want to have an experience.
Yes.
They like the food and wine. They like the flight tasting where there's more one-on-one interaction with a host. And that's, quite honestly, the reason we opened the terrace at Rodney Strong was to take advantage of that trend happening.
Yeah. And it's worked out.
It's worked out great so far.
And your people, what about the people that were working there? I guess they're excited to get outside a bit. Eh?
They love it. The other side, too, is in the tasting room itself.
Yeah.
On Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it gets really busy.
Yeah.
And you get 3 or 4 deep. You need to be able to move people into an area so they can have a really good experience before they just walk out. Because they'll walk out if you don't get contact with them. And so we move them out there and are able to have that experience.
And do they come to see your square fermentation tanks?
They don't come to see it yet, the consumers, but the trade, and especially the winemakers do. Other winemakers do. Well, the traditional cylinder fermentation tanks have a certain footprint in your cellar. And if you think about that footprint and you put a square tank in there, you really have the same footprint, only you have the square edges. So you've increased your fermentation capacity by for us, it's about 22%.
Yeah.
And also the top of the fermenter, where if you're fermenting red wine, it forms a cap.
Yes.
The cap is actually not as thick, and it's spread out farther. So you're able to get the favorable extractions that you want more quickly and not get the bitter extractions for it being in there too long. So, and the green side of it, the efficiencies of temperature control and how the energy that's used is also reduced. The cleaning side of it, ours are surgical grade stainless steel, so they clean very easily. We use less water in the process, so it's a win-win for everybody. Mm-hmm. Kind of wonder why we didn't have them, 20 years ago.
There's so much new technology.
It's all good.
It's all good stuff.
Yes.
Definitely.
We just get older and the technology gets better.
Yeah.
Soon
Everything
we'll be
gets
making
better.
wine.
Yeah.
No, we won't be doing that.
Those square tanks were actually produced in Canada.
Were they?
Yeah.
In Quebec.
Yeah.
This company that was producing
well,
tanks.
that would be a good thing to buy right now.
Yes.
With our dollar.
Yes, it would.
Not our dollar, with his dollar.
With your dollar.
Our dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be worried about that. I mean, the price of wine's going up in Canada for many, between the euro and the U.S. dollar. It's been a tough year for us, but the problem in Canada. Every time we dig a hole, we hit water, gas, oil, gold, and so our dollar's worth nothing.
Well, it's actually we sell our wines in Canadian dollars, so it hits us a different way.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
But we're here for the long term.
So Sonoma's doing well. If we look at you selling wine outside of Sonoma, what are some of the good markets for you now? Obviously, Canada's probably a good
Canada
market.
is by far our number one market outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
And then, Denmark, Sweden, the Atlantic Basin, which we call the Caribbean, Bermuda, Mexico is very strong. Asia Pacific is growing, There's some very structured markets and some very chaotic markets, so it's what you call cautious approach cautiously, yeah. But Canada is by far, and we've been here a long time, as you know. And
there's a big evolution in Sonoma too. I mean, things are moving at a breakneck speed in terms of the way people produce Pinot Noir now there, Chardonnay. I mean, you guys have several Pinots now that are knocking it out of the park, and lots of demand for that, I'm sure.
Lots of demand. And I was at a dinner last night, and the figure 785 wineries in Sonoma County.
Wow.
785?
Came out, yeah.
That is nuts.
Oh, my goodness.
And there's a lot of, like you mentioned, Pinot Noir. There's a lot of Pinot Noir producers that they produce 200 or 300 cases.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't see them here, but they have a list, and they sell to their list. And
it's all out there.
It's
all
proliferated,
competition. Yeah. Dan, great to see you. Enjoy your week in Vancouver.
Thank you.
People come by the booth and see you in the next couple of nights at the festival.
I'd rather see you in Sonoma, though. We've always had a great time at Rodney
When are you
Strong.
going to come back?
Oh, my gosh. What time is it?
Yeah. If they come by the booth, so the Sauvignon and the Alexander Valley Cab are at the booth.
At the booth. We also have the Davis Bynum Pinot Noir and Chardonnay.
Oh, my God. I love those two wines.
And I'll tell you, I don't know what happened, but there was a flock of people coming up wanting to taste the Davis Bynum Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
It's
a lot of fancy writing about that wine.
I think so.
Yeah. I love that kid. Now, his name's gone out of my head. He's one of my favorite guys.
Greg Mortal, yeah.
Such a great guy. He still, it always struck me that he had lunch with Davis Bynum once in a while every month and catch up and have the story about the old winery and plug them in, and it really has worked out well.
Davis still comes to the winery like once a month, and they actually taste through wines, taste blends, and Davis, has a hand in everything.
Dan, thanks so much for joining us on the Best of Food and Wine. As always, pleasure to see you, and welcome back to Vancouver.
Thank you.
Dan Wildermuth from Rodney Strong, and of course, Rodney Strong was one of the original guys coming up to the festival every year.
That's right.
He was
I remember him.
He used to go back to Sonoma and tell everybody, man, that Vancouver's a terrible place. Don't go there. I'll take care of it. It's a terrible market.
Exactly.
And then they found out why, because he had a lot of fun. We're out of time, Arthur. Are we out of time?
That's it.
But we're back.
Tomorrow.
We're back tomorrow night. We'll be live again, starting at 7 o'clock, live from the floor of the Vancouver Wine Festival. Lots of guests lined up for tomorrow night and for Saturday night. And Saturday afternoon as well. No, Arthur?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're done. Do we have tickets to give away, or we've done it all?
We gave them away on the Facebook, and thank you. Congratulations to our winners who called in.
Okay. That's it for today. Casey, tomorrow night, what's happening?
We're going to visit Australia, Argentina, California, and the Okanagan Valley.
That's it for us. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tony Gismondi.
And I'm Casey Wilson, reminding you, the harder it is to make a wine, the easier it is to drink.